What's good here? It's Wresltemania, man. Man, night two of Wrestlemania was an amazing show, man. But I still have goosebumps. I am still in shock of everything that happened. I am, bro. The show hasn't even ended well, actually, it ended like an hour ago, but I'm still shocked at what happened of night two of WrestleMania. But I don't want to waste any more time, man. We're gonna get straight into it. We're gonna start with the opening match: Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight Championship. This was great. This was great from start to finish. This was amazing. Their entrances was goated. You had I cannot remember Drew's entrance, but Seth Rollins' entrance was crazy. The goofy clothes, he had a bunch of people with him. I don't know what that is specifically. It reminded me of a movie. If anyone ever watched The Cheetah Girls and watched the ending of that movie, that's what it reminds me of. For some weird reason, his entrance reminds me of that. But we're gonna get straight into the match. Immediately, the match instantly starts. Drew McIntyre, Claymore, instantly to Seth Rollins, instantly. I'm just like, no. That shocked me because I'm like, there's no way they're going to end it like that. Of course, they did not end it like that. It went 1-2. Seth Rollins kicks out. Then Drew McIntyre is not playing no games. He wants that World Heavyweight Championship. He tries to set up for another Claymore, but Seth Rollins ends up going outside the ring to avoid it. Seth Rollins outside the ring. Drew's follow him, and Drew ends up attacking the injured knee that he ends up suffering from night one's tag team. Then Drew McIntyre ends up doing a very crazy belly to belly suplex onto the outside padded area. That was crazy because Seth Rollins' body kind of like basically his body went crazy over that belly to belly suplex. Then we get Drew McIntyre starts looking at CM Punk, getting a little distracted, getting distracted a bit. Yeah, gets distracted a bit. Goes to the announce table if I'm not mistaken. No, I'm going way too early in the match. He gets distracted. I know Seth Rollins ends up getting the upper hand, and then Drew McIntyre tries to do some type of I think body slam, or he tries to do a pedigree, but he takes too long. Seth Rollins reverses it, then ends up doing he was looking at CM Punk while trying to do the pedigree. Seth Rollins ends up reversing it, does the pedigree on the floor, throws him in the ring, try to get the 1-2-3, but Drew McIntyre kicks out. After Drew McIntyre kicks out, oh wait, no, he didn't even do that. My mistake. Does the pedigree on the floor, throws him in the ring. Seth Rollins sets up for the curb stomp, then curb stomps Drew. Then he tries to get him for the 1-2-3. Drew McIntyre kicks out. Then Drew McIntyre gets up. We get a back and forth, a really good back and forth. You know, when wrestlers start punching each other, the crowd go yay, then boo, yay, boo. Seth Rollins throws a punch, Drew throws a punch. Seth Rollins throws a punch, Drew throws a punch. Seth Rollins super kick, Drew does a kick. Then Seth Rollins does a chop, Drew does a chop. Then we get Drew McIntyre tries to. I think Drew McIntyre does something. I forgot what it was. Seth Rollins does a really good power bomb. Then after the power bomb, he sets it up into a pedigree. Then he goes into the pedigree and then goes into a curb stomps. Tries to goes for the pin, but Drew McIntyre ends up kicking out. This was a finisher fest. I will admit they was doing finisher after finisher, but the finishers were executed well and executed in a way where you didn't get tired of the finishers. It was executed very well. We go to the outside. Both guys are outside. Drew McIntyre goes outside. He's distracted by CM Punk once again. Goes to the announce table, clears off the announce table, tries to put Seth through the announce table, tries to do a power bomb onto the announce table. Seth Rollins reverses it. Seth Rollins gets the upper hand. Then you get Drew McIntyre kind of laid down head first onto the announce table, and then Seth Rollins is setting up for the curb stomp, and he does a curb stomp onto the announcer table. That was a really cool spot. I really love that spot. That was a really cool sequence. I may skip ahead because I am going off the dome here, but I also remember another spot of Seth Rollins. No, I'm right. Yeah, I should be right. But then there was another moment of Seth Rollins tries to do a curb stomp off the top rope. He tries to do a curb stomp off the top rope. Drew McIntyre ends up escaping it. Ends up Seth Rollins miss. Drew McIntyre tries to hit a Claymore. He ends up missing the Claymore. Seth Rollins moved out the way. Seth Rollins then tried to do a pedigree. Drew McIntyre ends up reversing it and then hits him for a DDT, pins him. Seth Rollins kicks out at 2. This was a lot of near close falls. This kind of scared me because I ain't gonna lie, it was moments where I thought Drew was gonna win, moments I thought Seth was gonna retain. Drew McIntyre then ends up starting mocking CM Punk. He does the go to sleep taunt and then he tries to actually hit the go to sleep. Seth Rollins ends up reversing it, ends up doing like a roll up pin, but then after Drew McIntyre kicks out, Claymore instantly gets Claymore. The crowd goes crazy. The crowd ends up going crazy, man. I thought that potentially that could have been over, but Seth Rollins ends up kicking out. Then we get after that, yeah, I think after that actually, Drew McIntyre's, he's in shock, he's in awe. He's like, how did he kick out? But then we get Drew McIntyre again, hits him. He's like, he's trying to end it, hits him with another Claymore, and then Drew McIntyre is your new World Heavyweight Championship. He's in shock. He's crying in the ring. He's so happy he finally got his moment. The crowd was cheering for him. He's celebrating with his wife. And then this is where everything goes wrong for Drew McIntyre. Turns to CM Punk. He walks towards the announce table. He crawls onto the table and him and CM Punk are having a chat. He's talking to CM Punk, talking his trash. CM Punk's talking back, right? Then as he's talking, I couldn't really hear what Drew was saying. You mainly only could hear CM Punk because he has the headset. As they're talking, then CM Punk ends up doing, the suck it taunt towards CM Punk, turns away, and then CM Punk attacks Drew McIntyre, hits him from the back, hits his leg. Drew McIntyre falls off the announce table. CM Punk is punching him, and then CM Punk ends up taking off his cast or whatever it is on his arm for his triceps, puts it on the other arm, and then hits him with it, knocks down Drew McIntyre. Then CM Punk is constantly stomping him out. As he's stomping out, you hear you hear the Judgment Day's theme music hit. Damian Priest is running down with the money in the briefcase. He's about to cash it in. He runs down, instantly knocks out Drew McIntyre with the money in the briefcase, goes to the referee, says he's cashing it in, and then brings Drew McIntyre into the ring. It's official. He cashed in the money briefcase. He does his signature choke slam, pins Drew McIntyre for the 1, 2, 3. Damian Priest is your new World Heavyweight Championship. I predicted this. I said this was one of my hot takes in my WrestleMania 40 predictions. I had a feeling that he was going to successfully cash in. I had a feeling. And I have been saying this for the longest that Damian Priest was going to cash in once the Judgment Day lose their tag titles. Because I said it doesn't make sense for him to cash in when he's already champ. There's no incentive for him. Why cash in when you're already champ? And they're not going to have him especially if they want him to win, he's not going to be a double champion. It doesn't make sense. I'm happy for Damian Priest because a lot of people don't want to see Damian champion as World Heavyweight Championship. That say he's not World Heavyweight Championship material. Look, anyone can be World Heavyweight Championship material if pushed right. And I think he has that potential. I like Damian Priest. Now, he's not having a long reign. That's not happening. He's not having a long reign at all. He's going to be a traditional champion for sure. About 3, max maybe 4 months. He's losing it before SummerSlam. He's losing it. But I'm happy for Damian Priest. I think he deserves it, especially after the mockery, the embarrassment they was doing with the Money in the Bank briefcase, him constantly looking like an idiot with the cash in. Glad. This was a great match. Very great match. Unfortunately, Drew McIntyre ends up not being able to have a title defense, not being able to, carry that championship to Raw. It's unfortunate, but hey, someone had to walk out as champion. And I'm kind of happy it's Damian Priest. Even though I wanted Drew McIntyre to keep the championship, have a reign, but he will probably eventually win it back. But I'm happy for Damian Priest. But we're going to get to the second match, which is Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits versus the Final Testament. This was a really good match. And thank God this was a street fight. Because if this wasn't a street fight, I don't know how this match would have went. But it needed a stipulation to make it interesting. Because this feud has not been really good at all. It's been bad. But the match was actually good. I said this match will be good. I had a feeling it was going to be good only because it was a street fight. The street fight really added an element to it that it needed. It starts off with the Final Testament getting the upper hand. They start off with them having kendo sticks. They all Authors of Pain and Karrion Kross are going crazy with the kendo sticks, dominating the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley. They're dominating this match early on. Later in the match, we get Karrion Kross end up doing a very sick neck breaker onto the chair. That was a very sick neck breaker. I was actually worried because it looked like that could have been like serious right there. We ended up getting this match had a lot of cool spots, interesting spots. This is basically just a spot fest, a little bit chaotic, but not too much. We end up getting a nice B-foul spot with her and Scarlett going through a table. We end up getting a nice spot with also where Karrion Kross ended up doing a DDT onto a chair to Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley and Karrion Kross was really going back and forth in this match. Oh yeah. Also, I forgot. Bubba Ray Dudley was also the guest special referee in this match. Also forgot about that. Don't know how I forgot about that. And Snoop Dogg was on commentary. Snoop Dogg was actually crapping. He was making me laugh with his commentary. He was very funny on commentary. Bubba Ray Dudley was also special guest referee. Forgot about that. But he ended up playing a big role into this match because after Karrion Kross ends up doing the DDT onto the chair, Bubba Ray Dudley ends up, counting for the 2 count. Karrion Kross got mad because he thought it was a 3. He keeps on, fussing and complaining to Bubba Ray Dudley. And then they have a stare down. And then Bubba Ray Dudley ends up putting on his glasses. And man, the crowd pop. Karrion Kross backs off. Then turns around. Bobby Lashley hits him with the spear. Then they get, the Street Profits and then Bobby Lashley get the upper hand. Everyone laid out on the floor. They have the upper hand. And then they did this thing where I think Bubba Ray, Bobby Lashley, Montez Ford, Angelo Dawkins. I forgot exactly what they did, but basically they was doing like a nostalgia moment. They was doing like this weird taunt. They was doing some type of taunt. I forgot exactly what it was. And they end up doing a nutcracker. Now, the thing that the Dudley boys are known for when they jump off the top rope and hit their opponent in the nuts. And Angelo Dawkins ended up doing a nutcracker with his head, hitting Karrion Kross in the nuts, and then they end up ending the match with a table spot. But before the table spot, they try to get a table, but they try to get Karrion Kross onto a table to end the match. But once they put Karrion Kross on the table instantly collapsed, like instantly. Then they get another table, finally puts him on the table. Montez Ford does a frog splash. Then Bobby Lashley picks up the pin for the 1, 2, 3. The Street Profits and Bobby Lashley ends up winning the match. This was a really good match, really fun, fast-paced match, exactly what it needs to be. This feud needs to end. It needs to end. The right people, either way, it doesn't matter who really won this match, but that was my prediction. Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits was going to win this match. But we're going to move on to the next match, which is LA Knight and AJ Styles. This was also a really good match. This actually impressed me a lot. AJ Styles got a new entrance. Interesting. Now, I don't know if they're going to continue with that new theme music. I knew he was going to bring in a new theme song. I just didn't know what it was. Now, some people, I know I was watching a video. Someone said that they might end up bringing his old TNA theme back. I don't know if that's his old TNA thing. I didn't watch him in TNA. So let me know let me know you guys recognize the theme song. I actually like the theme song. The match starts off pretty solidly. We get to the outside. LA Knight does his signature his signature head slam on the announcer, when he does the constantly slam his opponent heads onto the announcer table. I really don't like that move because he does it way too much and the crowd ruins it with the yeah chants. I like LA Knight. I love how over he is, but when the crowd keeps yelling yeah over and over, it gets very annoying very fast. But the crowd was hyped. Then we get to another part. AJ Styles, LA Knight was on the ropes, and AJ Styles ended up catching him on the ropes, ends up kicking the ropes, and then which lead to a LA Knight injury. They're playing up to this injury of LA Knight having a messed up leg on his left leg. Then after that, AJ Styles is constantly working the leg, constantly attacking the leg. LA Knight eventually ends up getting the upper hand, and then LA Knight did a very impressive tornado DDT off the ropes. Like that's something like Rey Mysterio would do. Like he did a tornado DDT off the ropes. That was very impressive. We also end up getting later on they end up going back and forth. Then we get a top rope spot. AJ Styles is on the top rope, and he's like backwards. He's like kind of like facing backwards, not facing forward. And then LA Knight does his signature thing where he runs up the ropes, like jumps on the ropes, and then ends up doing a suplex. He ends up doing a German suplex. He ends up jumping on the top rope doing a German suplex. That was a really crazy spot. LA Knight ends up. Then we get to the outside. Both members are outside. LA Knight ends up ripping off the padding of the ground on the outside, and it ends up showing the concrete, which I was very excited for because this feud is very personal, very not high stakes, but this feud is very personal. It needs more. You know what I'm saying? I'm surprised they didn't have a stipulation, but I like that. LA Knight is trying to do some type of slam, but AJ Styles ends up reversing it, and then AJ Styles ends up hitting LA Knight onto the concrete. LA Knight is on the floor. AJ Styles goes back into the ring after he hits LA Knight on the concrete. He tells the ref to count. He tells the ref to count him out. The ref is counting, and it gets too close to a near fall. It ends up getting close to 10. LA Knight just makes it at 9, basically almost at 10 to be honest, but he ends up making it. AJ Styles tries to end it, he tries to do something off the he tries to do like a springboard dive or a spring something. He was on the ropes, tried to do some type of springboard move, ends up getting reversed. LA Knight ends up pushing AJ Styles, my bad, towards the ropes. Hits AJ Styles, then he ends up hitting AJ Styles with the BFT for the victory. LA Knight ends up getting the victory. This was a good victory for LA Knight. That was another prediction I got right. It made no sense for AJ to win. The right person won. This is, because they're still continuing to push LA Knight. Eventually, he's going to get pushed. Eventually, LA Knight will get pushed into the main event scene to win titles. It's just not his time yet, but eventually he will. This was a good victory, a good WrestleMania moment. And LA Knight came far. From a guy that was off the WrestleMania card to now on the WrestleMania card. This was the big spot. I know a lot of people wanted him to be in the United States Championship match, but you got to take what you could get. The fact that he was off the Mania card and now on it, I think that's a huge accomplishment. And this was a very good match. But next up, we got Logan Paul, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, triple threat match for the United States Championship match. This was really good. Logan Paul coming out in a prime truck. I ain't gonna lie, I almost thought Kevin Owens was gonna win. I wanted Kevin Owens to win. I knew Logan Paul was gonna win, but I really wanted Kevin Owens to win this match. I thought low-key because they end up recreating what happened on night 1 with Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens ends up, coming before Sami made his entrance. Kevin Owens was there, and he ends up saying, "You could do this. Go ahead and win the match." They end up recreating that with Sami Zayn saying, "It's your turn now." With that, I ain't gonna lie, that almost made me thought Kevin was gonna win, but I still stuck with my original prediction. The match starts off with Logan Paul. Basically, the 3 people in the ring, officially, the moment the match starts, Logan Paul instantly leaves the ring. Typical heel work. Leaves the ring, try to make them just fight it out, but then Logan Paul and Kevin Owens ends up looking at each other, and they both end up going after him. Logan Paul tries to escape, try to get back in the ring, but Kevin Owens ends up grabbing him, and then they start beating him. Kevin Owens and Randy Orton had like a little tag team going on for a bit in this match. For like the first 5 to 10 minutes, they had like a tag team alliance to just constantly beat up Kevin Owens. So they start beating up Kevin Owens, constantly beating up. Then it gets to a point where I think one of them did like a slam or something, and then Randy Orton went for the pin, but Kevin Owens also tried to go for the pin, and then they both realized well, it is a triple threat. Only one of us get it. Then they end up talking. It was funny because they really was like talking it out, like actually having our lines. They end up talking it out, end up saying, "Let's not do it now." Basically, let's not attack each other now. Let's just keep fighting Randy. Let's keep beating up Logan Paul. Then Kevin Owens tries to go after Logan Paul. Randy Orton tries to RKO him after they officially agreed to not fight each other. That was a great... Kevin Owens ended up reversing the RKO, and that was a great moment because it's like, what do you expect? What do you expect none other than Randy Orton will turn on you? Kevin Owens was like, really, dude? Seriously? Like, then Kevin Owens starts saying, do you want to do it now? Do you want to fight now? Basically. And then they both agree, like, yep, let's just fight now. Let's just break the lines and let's fight. They end up going into a brawl, going back and forth. I think Randy Orton ended up getting the upper hand. Not really sure. But then we end up getting they end up going to a brawl, and then Logan Paul ends up making a recovery and then ends up attacking them both, knocking them both to the ground. After he knocks them both to the ground, Logan Paul starts taunting Randy Orton, doing his signature pose. I really love that. Then we get Logan Paul ends up doing a swanton bomb into a frog splash. He did a swanton bomb onto Kevin Owens, and then did a frog splash, a standing frog splash onto Randy Orton. That was a really cool spot. Really impressed by that. A couple of spots here and there, did it back and forth. Then Randy Orton starts getting the upper hand, and then we get a moment where Randy Orton does his signature. Michael Cole calls it vintage Orton, where he does the DDT onto the ropes. Does that on both Logan Paul and Kevin Owens. That was a really cool spot. Really like that. Then we get later on to the match. We get Kevin Owens. I think Kevin Owens ended up doing a power slam. I forgot on who. I think it was on Logan Paul. He did a power slam, and then he ends up doing a moonsault for the 1-2-3. Logan Paul ends up kicking out. Then we ends up getting some shenanigans happening. Logan Paul, you already know, with the brass knuckles, of course. Logan Paul tries to hit Randy Orton with the brass knuckles. I think he ends up missing at first. Yeah, I think he ends up missing with the brass knuckles, and then Randy Orton ends up RKOing him. Yeah, Randy Orton RKO's Logan Paul. Then Then Randy Orton tries to. Wait, am I? Yeah, no. I think he actually hits him. Yeah, no. Logan Paul actually hits Randy Orton with the brass knuckles. Yeah, if I remember. I'm going off the dome, so I am misremembering some things. Logan Paul did end up hitting Orton with the brass knuckles. Ends up kicking out. That was a crazy moment because I was like, oh no, don't end it like this. Because the match was so good. I thought they was going to end it there, but the match was really good. I thought they was going to end it there, but Randy Orton ended up kicking out. And he also ended up hitting Kevin Owens with the brass knuckles too, right afterwards too. But eventually, Randy Orton ends up recovering, gets his payback, ends up RKOing Logan Paul, RKO Logan Paul, and then later on, then Randy Orton tries to punt kick Logan Paul. We haven't seen Randy Orton do a punt kick in so long. The fact that they teased that was crazy. He didn't end up hitting it. Logan Paul ends up running towards the outside. Runs towards the outside. Randy Orton tries to chase after him. And then you see the Prime guy. No, it was the Prime guy because, the Prime mascot was there, of course. The Prime mascot ends up pulling Logan Paul, actually, to avoid the punt kick. Randy Orton comes over to see what's going on. Then it gets revealed that Iyo Speed is in the mascot of the Prime. I thought it was going to be KSI because I thought that made the most sense, but it was Iyo Speed. Iyo Speed ends up, was the one that helped Logan Paul. Then Iyo Speed end up doing his signature barking. He was actually talking trash to Randy. He ends up pushing Randy, actually. Randy Orton ends up start beating up Iyo Speed, gets him on the announce table eventually, and then he does the RKO onto the announce table. That was a really cool spot. Then we end up getting Randy Orton going to the ring. I think Logan Paul and Kevin Owens was fighting. Then Kevin Owens ends up doing a pop-up power bomb to Kevin Owens, and then I think he ended up doing a stunner to Randy Orton, if I'm not mistaken. Pins, don't get the pinfall, ends up kicking out at 2. Then we end up getting a Randy Orton power bomb into Randy Orton and Kevin Owens are both in the ring. Logan Paul is out. He's on the outside. Randy Orton and Kevin Owens doing their back and forth, and then we end up getting Kevin Owens ends up throwing Randy Orton, tries to do a pop-up powerbomb. He does the pop-up powerbomb, tosses him in the air, and then Randy Orton comes down into a RKO. He goes into a RKO, tries to go for the pin, but then Logan Paul swoops in, tosses Randy Orton into the ring post. Logan Paul ends up doing a swanton bomb or a frog splash, I'm not mistaken, and then ends up pinning Kevin Owens for the 1-2-3, and he is still your United States Championship. I was kind of all over the place in this match. I'm trying to remember everything off the fly, my mistake. This was a great match. And the way he won is kind of how I envisioned it. I literally said that Randy Orton was going to get an RKO, and then he was going to toss Randy Orton out the ring, which he did, and then pick up the victory. It's exactly how I went down. This was a great match. Very excited for Logan Paul to continue his reign. Really enjoying his title reign. Next up, we got, I ain't gonna lie, this might be my favorite match. This match was great. This exceeded my expectations. Bayley versus Iyo Sky. Bayley ends up coming out into like this Egyptian type style, and she got a new theme song. She got a brand new theme song. I actually like the new theme song. I actually mess with it. I think her old one is better, but this new theme song isn't bad. And Bayley was pulling up some moves in this match. Bayley, this is one of the best Bayley matches she has had in a long time. Like, this is one of the best Bayley matches she had in a while. I can't remember the last this great Bayley match. I really can't. Ever since she's been with Damage Control, I can't really remember. This match was really good. Bayley ended up doing some new moves. She ended up doing a suicide dive that she never does. Now that she's a babyface, I'm assuming that's why, because typically heels don't do suicide dives because that's typically supposed to get the crowd hype. They was playing up the Bayley's injury. Iyo Sky ended up injuring Bayley's leg. They was playing her right leg. They was playing that up. We ended up getting Bayley ends up. It was a cool little spot where Iyo Sky was on the barricade and she was on top of the barricade, tries to jump on top of Bayley. Bayley catches her into a body slam. That was a nice sequence. Bayley ended up doing a crazy slam too. She did like an F5. Well, she was in an F5 stance. And then as she turned Iyo Sky, she turned her to she ended up catching her on her back and then slamming her backwards. That was a really cool sequence. That was very impressive. Didn't expect that. We ended up getting Iyo Sky with her moonsault. She ended up doing a moonsault on the outside. When we get towards the end of the match, Iyo Sky tries to do a moonsault onto Bayley. Bayley ends up reversing the moonsault, and then Bayley is about to hit her finisher or something, and then Iyo Sky ends up pulling a Jimmy Uso. She pulls a Jimmy Uso from night one. Try to convince Bayley that, we're friends. I changed, but then Iyo Sky, of course, goes to her heel ways, attack Bayley, of course. Iyo gets the upper hand. Iyo Sky does her signature moonsault, hits it this time. Bayley kicks out of the moonsault. I was fearing for my life. It was a lot of near falls in this match. I can't remember everything that happened, but it was times where I thought Iyo was going to win, and I was praying Iyo does not win this match. Iyo Sky gets frustrated after Bayley kicks out. She does a regular moonsault on the ground. Then she does a moonsault on the second rope of the top rope, the second rope that's connects to the top rope. She does that. Then she tries to do it for the third time at the actual top. Bayley ends up moving out the way. Bayley tries to do the Rose plant. Iyo Sky reverses it. Then Bayley ends up clotheslining her. Then Bayley ends up going to the top rope. The crowd is getting hyped. They're chanting Bayley. They want Bayley to do it. Bayley ends up doing her signature elbow drop. Then she picks Iyo up, does her Rose plant, and then Bayley is now your new WWE's Women's Championship. This match was great. This match exceeded my expectations. This match is a 10 out of 10. It did everything it needed to do. This match was really, really amazing. This match actually got me emotional. I love Bayley. I felt like Bayley has been getting disrespected for the past 2 years, actually. Ever since she started Damage Control, I feel like she was the most disrespected. Constantly losing matches, finally giving her a Wrestlemania moment. Really love this match. Very great. Very excited to see what they do with Bayley moving forward. Now, we got the main event. Man, this main event. Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. This was great. This is a very long match. I'm probably going to forget some stuff, but bear with me here. Now, this match starts off, with the typical stare down. The crowd is going crazy. Crowd wants Cody to win. They're chanting Cody chants. This was all over the place. I hope I'll be able to remember everything. But I'm gonna get to the main points of this match. They're going back and forth. Typical slow-paced Roman Reigns match, but it was a little bit more fast-paced than I expected. Typically, Roman Reigns matches are a little bit slow. This wasn't really slow. This was more I would say I wouldn't say fast-paced either. I'm talking about the first 10 minutes. I wouldn't say it was fast, but it wasn't slow either, which was very unorthodox. But we get a cool moment. Roman and Cody are outside fighting in the crowd. They're fighting in the crowd. The towards this table, but I don't think it was a table because they end up doing a move on it. But they're fighting. Roman gets Cody onto this surface, this hard surface, right? He's taunting the crowd, he's, basically reeling in the moment, very overconfident and arrogant. Cody Rhodes ends up reversing it and does a suplex onto the hard surface. Don't know what it is. because it wasn't a table, because the surface was hard, and when Roman hits it, it didn't break, so it wasn't a table. But we ended up getting, back into the ring. We ended up getting a very cool sequence where Cody tries to do his disaster kick, but then Roman ends up catching him into a power bomb. That was a really cool sequence. After that, we ended up getting Roman Reigns ends up start choking Cody Rhodes out, choking him towards the ropes, using the ropes to choke him. And then Roman ends up saying, "This is my company. This is my company, you little bitch." That was great. I love the Roman trash talk. Roman was trash talking the whole entire match. I really love Roman's arrogance, cocky, and Roman that was actually dominant in this match. For a good portion of this match, Roman was dominant. Cody could not get no offense in. And after that moment, Roman was dominant in this match. But then we ended up getting a cool sequence. Roman and Cody ended up doing a back and forth. They're trading kicks. Roman does his big boot. Cody does a super kick. Roman does the big boot again. Cody does a super kick. They're going back and forth. Cody ends up getting momentum. Cody goes for the disaster kick. And then he ends up going for a Cody cutter. He ends up going for the Cody cutter. And then he ends up doing a crossroads into it. Roman Reigns, of course, kicks out of that. It was a close near fall. Then we end up getting Roman. Roman, gets the upper hand, and Roman actually ends up doing a crossroads to Cody Rhodes. He ends up using his own finisher against him. He ends up using his finisher. Cody Rhodes kicks out at 2, and then Roman starts trash talking Cody Rhodes' finisher. He ends up saying that finisher sucks. No one ever wins with that move. I love that. I love that he ends up talking trash about Cody Rhodes' finisher, how he couldn't put him away with that. Trying to figure out what else that happened in this match, because Cody Rhodes ended up Cody Rhodes ends up they end up doing back and forth. They're on the outside. I remember this specifically. It was outside the ring, and then Roman, it was the announce table spot. Roman Reigns, I think Cody Rhodes tried to put him through the announce table. Cody Rhodes takes a little bit too much time. Roman ends up low blowing him. Ends up hitting him with a low blow on the outside. Then Roman Reigns ended up doing a power bomb onto the announcer table, if I'm not mistaken. And then Roman Reigns throws him back in the ring, does a Superman punch. Cody ends up reversing it, and then ends up doing a spear. Ends up spearing Roman, go for the 1, 2, 3. Roman Reigns kicks out at another near fall. Then we end up getting a sequence where Cody tries to do a Cody cutter. Roman reverses it. Then Roman tries to do a rock bottom. And I mixed it up. Missed it up completely. This is when Cody ends up doing the spear. My mistake. Yeah, now that I remember. Roman tries to do a rock bottom. Cody reverses it. Then Cody ends up hitting him with a spear. Tries to go for the 1, 2, 3. Roman ends up kicking out. Then Cody, getting the crowd hype. He has the momentum. He has all the momentum. He has the advantage. Cody tries to do a crossroads, and then the shenanigans start. Jimmy Uso comes in the ring, super kicks Cody Rhodes. Super kick Cody Rhodes. Roman Reigns takes advantage of that, of course, ends up doing a Superman punch onto Cody Rhodes. They're trying to beat him up, and then Jey Uso theme music hit. The crowd go crazy. Jey Uso comes out. Jimmy and Jey ends up doing a brawl. They're going back and forth, and then Jey Uso ends up spearing Jimmy off the entrance ramp onto a table. Very sick spot. Then after that, Roman ends up spearing Cody. Roman pins, another near fall. Then we get to the outside. Roman is outside. He's exhausted. They end up having a little back and forth. Then Cody ends up spearing Roman into the barricade. This is just a very chaotic match. Then we get into later into the match. After Cody ends up spearing Roman to the barricade, Cody gets him inside the ring. Cody ends up doing 2 crossroads. He does 2 crossroads, trying to go for a third crossroads. On the third crossroads, Solo Sikoa comes out and does his spike to Cody Rhodes, recreating what happened from last year. Solo ends up picking Roman up, sliding his body on top of Cody Rhodes. tries to make Roman pin him. The ref counts the 1, 2, 3, but Cody kicks out at 2.5, very close near fall. Solo Sikoa thought it was over, but he was very shocked. Then Solo is talking to Roman. He's telling him to get up, finish it now, finish it now. Roman's like, Roman, yelling back at Solo, like, I know what I gotta do. Because Solo was yelling at Roman. He was like, dude, finish it. Like, end this now. Solo picks Cody up. They're setting up for the spear. Roman ends up spearing Cody into a Samoan spike. The signature spike. Solo ends up spiking Cody while Roman spears. Hit that. Ends up pinning Cody. I thought that was over. I thought that was it. I was like, there's no way he kicks out of it. Cody kicks out at 2. My mind was blown. I was shocked and appalled. After that, John Cena theme music hits. John Cena comes out, which I did expect, but I was still shocked. John Cena comes out. He's attacking Solo, takes out Solo. Then you get John Cena picks up Roman Reigns for an attitude adjustment, hits Roman Reigns with an attitude adjustment, comes out to Solo, and then he hits an attitude adjustment onto Solo Sikoa. The crowd is hyped. The crowd is very hyped, electrifying, and then you get the Rock theme music hit. Man, the Rock comes out, and then we get this stare down of the Rock and John Cena. This was very nostalgic. This was reminiscent of John Cena and the Rock, their match they had about a decade ago. Man, then they're staring each other down. Then you get John Cena. He does the signature "You can't see me" taunt, but then he tries to attack The Rock. The Rock ends up getting the upper hand, does the Rock bottom. After The Rock does the Rock bottom onto John Cena, The Rock ends up whipping out that signature belt that says Mama Rose. He's about to beat Cody with the belt. Didn't you hear the Shield theme music? You hear the Shield theme music. You know it's Seth Rollins. You wonder when Seth is at. It's taking a while for Seth to come out. Then Roman comes in the ring and super punches Seth before Seth could do anything. Seth had the Shield gear. He had and he tried to hit him with the chair, but Roman ends up seeing it and then ends up Superman punch Seth. The Rock ended up saying something to Seth, but I couldn't hear it because they bleeped it out. The Rock is about to beat Cody with the belt. Then you get the most surprising, out of nowhere appearance of the show. The Undertaker. The Undertaker thing hit. The bong hit, and the crowd went crazy. I went crazy. Because no one thought Undertaker was going to come. Everyone was saying, for the most part, it was going to be Stone Cold and John Cena. No one expected The Undertaker. I was jumping out of my chair when I saw this. Then the lights went out. It's super dark. All you see is, people having their flashlights with their phone. And then the lights appear. Undertaker's in the ring behind The Rock. The Rock doesn't know. The Rock turns around, looks at The Undertaker. The Rock tries to attack The Undertaker. The Undertaker gets the upper hand, choke slam The Rock. And then the lights went out again. And then The Undertaker and The Rock both disappeared. Great. So amazing. This match was basically Avengers Endgame. Like we all predicted. We all knew this was going to be overbooked Avengers Endgame. But this is what this match needed. It needed this. This was great. But we end up getting a cool moment after that. Everyone's on the ground. Roman starts recovering. Roman picks up the chair that Seth ended up having. It was a moment where Cody Rhodes and Seth are both starting to get up. They're starting to recover. And Roman is looking at both. He looks at both, and he's trying to figure out who's he going to hit with the chair. Cody or Seth. And he looks at Seth, and he hits Seth with the chair, bringing back the memory of when Seth hit Roman with the chair, getting his revenge. But Roman getting his revenge ended up being his downfall, because after that, Roman tries to hit a spear. Cody ends up reversing it. Cody gets the upper hand, hits 3 crossroads. And then Cody ends up beating Roman Reigns for the 1, 2, 3. And he is now your undisputed WWE champion. This was great. This was amazing. And I'm a little sad because Roman Reigns is my second favorite wrestler of all time behind John Cena. And I loved his reign And I would have been one of those people where I wouldn't have been mad. But Cody needed the victory. Cody needed the victory. It only made sense for Cody to win. But all good things must come to an end. Roman Reigns' reign was legendary. I think it's the greatest title reign ever. It's the greatest one I ever witnessed. It was amazing, but all great things must come to an end. Cody finally finishes the story after a long journey, after getting cheated from last year, being a back-to-back Royal Rumble winner, giving up his spot to The Rock only to earn it back. This was amazing. This was amazing. This was peak cinema. This was peak cinema. And the thing is, I don't think this story is over. Well, Cody's story is finished, winning the championship. Roman's story is not finished. We still have so many things Roman can do without the championship. I think they're still going to do The Rock and Roman. They're still going to do that for next year, in my opinion. They still have Roman as solo they could do. So many things you could go, but we need to appreciate Cody Rhodes. Finally finished his story. What is next for Cody? Who is going to be his next challenger? We know eventually they're going to do Randy Orton and Cody eventually, but Cody deserved his moment. Him coming back to the WWE, coming from AEW, becoming a main event caliber guy. This was really great. This was the best match of the card. Very emotional match, very chaotic, overbooked as hell, but it was everything it needed. It was everything it needed in this match, and this was great. From start to finish, this was great. But I'm still in shock, man. I'm still sad Roman lost, but I knew he was going to lose. I had to prepare myself for it, but what do you guys think, man? What do you guys think of night 2? Night 2, in my opinion, was better than night 1. It clears night 1. 10 out of 10. Everything that needed to happen, happened. All the matches was great. No match was bad. This was amazing. Amazing WrestleMania. One of the best WrestleManias of all time, in my opinion. But leave your thoughts, opinions down below. Let me know what you guys thought of this. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. But yeah, that's it.